Oh boy, thanks to Kim for that. My name is Kasia Bodurka. I'm in for Cheryl Plouffe on this cold, cold day in southern Ontario. Extreme cold weather alerts, extreme cold warnings as well this morning. Yeah, dealing with the wind chills in the -30s. All right, to warm us up, well, let's talk hockey, right? Any hockey fans out there? Here's Michelle Mackey along with Joe Nieuwendyk, former hockey, or he is a hockey Hall of Famer. Beautiful work going on, and the highlight of that for me was boy smell. Okay. Silly stuff, eh? All right, but those temperatures, not a laughable matter at all. Temperatures, well, hanging on to really cold values through the overnight hours. Little bit of a reprieve on the way later this week. Tomorrow still quite cool, though. Daytime highs closer to -7. High pressure dominating, and that's why we have brilliant sunshine to the north. Some snow flies, and will be impacted ever so slightly north of Georgian Bay. Yeah, we're not looking at epic amounts of snow for us in southern Ontario today. It's, of course, about the cold. It's one of those days you go to your closet and you should just put everything you have on. Layer up, my friends, and that's probably one of the big pieces of advice from our friends now at Bloor West Village. Here's Kelly Noseworthy. All right, a reprieve is eventually on its way when it comes to those temperatures. Just get past today, and then it's up from here. But in the meantime, taking a look at a lot of those purples, I feel like I matched so well with this map. Yeah, I planned it. -15s, temperatures around -10 to -15 throughout the day into the evening hours. You'll notice the blues coming in. It's actually going to be getting a little bit more mild as we head into tomorrow. Tomorrow's daytime high closer to -7. This trough, by the way, that's going to be bringing us some snow to the north. It's not going to be impacting us in southern Ontario, though. And boy, is that story ever relevant on a day like today. Earlier this morning, temperatures were feeling like the -30s in some places in southern Ontario. My name is Kasia Bodurka. I'm happy to report that this cold is not going to be staying with us for very long. But in the meantime, we got to stay safe, keep warm. And here's Kelly Noseworthy with that. Right. Excellent advice. The worst is going out on days like today and having to pump gas, but at least we'll have that last layer, right, to help you out. Meanwhile, temperatures, we're seeing a lot of purples here, unfortunately. That means temperatures closer to the atmosphere, closer to -15 with this high pressure, and yes, it is an Arctic high. But eventually that recedes a little bit, and we start to see the blues spill in through this evening into the overnight hours, and temperatures actually begin to rebound a little bit. So daytime highs closer to -7 tomorrow with no wind chill value. And of course, today with cold weather alerts, extreme cold weather alerts, that's one of those things that you have to be mindful of today. Now, how cold is it? Well, let's allow our friend Kelly Noseworthy show us with some cold weather experiments. It was one of those days that I felt my nose was freezing. You know that feeling? Yeah. And when I was a kid, I would pull out my fruit roll-ups and they would actually shatter in this type of cold. Let's see how cold it is. All right. Into the afternoon, we're looking at a reprieve, though, into your long range. Can't wait to tell you. 2 degrees come Saturday, right? But first, we got to get past today. This is an Arctic high, clearly. We did have winds coming in from the north, ushering in that frigid Arctic air. Eventually, the winds, they do shift a little bit. We do have a trough of instability to the north. It's going to be bringing us some light snow. But to southern Ontario, we should remain unscathed. We shouldn't be seeing too much precipitation, or if any at all, with that system. Again, it's a northern Ontario situation. And into your long range, a similar story. We're not seeing precipitation. It's just more so about those temperature values up and down, up and down. If you are heading to the north, though, you will be seeing the precipitation in the nation's capital as well. And by the weekend, we're looking at another clipper system impacting us to the north, but it's still well far out, so there's a chance that it could be impacting us. So you're just going to have to keep watching us as that weather story unfolds, because Sunday we do have a 40% risk of seeing precipitation. But again, it's all about those temperature values. Saturday, 2 degrees. Sunday, 0. Oh, isn't that nice, right? But for tomorrow, still bundling up. It'll be -7. It'll feel that way as well, but a wind chill value come your Thursday. Stay with us for more on your weather story. And that was Force of Nature for you, extended. Meanwhile, today, I gotta admit, on a personal note, I feel like I'm winning. One of my other jobs is to be on the outside. And of course, with extreme cold weather alerts in the city of Toronto, I'm so happy to be in this studio. But with a little heartwarming info, here is Michelle Mackey. Take a look at this. All right, and today really is one of those hot shots day, right? Put them in your gloves, put them in your boots. I certainly would. Purples on the map connote temperatures colder than -15. And of course, this is actually a reflection of a good 1,000 millibars into the atmosphere, so surface temperature is closer to about -10. In any case, it is cold. It is very cold. But we do have a reprieve on the way, so we start to see the blues spill in. Temperatures warming up a little bit, and eventually we're even going to be closer to the freezing mark, and by the weekend, we're going to be +2. That's on Saturday for the city of Toronto. So that's to look forward to. But in the meantime, an Arctic high gripping our area. So yeah, wind chill values certainly cold. And earlier this morning, it was feeling like -30 for a lot of us in southern Ontario. Your Wednesday looks like this, still quite cool. And have a look at those temperatures actually over the next 7 days. So for the city of Toronto, -7, plenty of sunshine still, that Arctic high in place, 2 degrees on your Saturday. And here's a look into the weekend. Enjoy.
One truck containing fireworks exploded, providing a stunning but terrifying display.
Oh boy, thanks to Kim for that. My name is Kasia Bodurka. I'm in for Cheryl Plouffe.
Continuing to persist in the Niagara area of Ontario, so we'll talk about that too. But back to AirAsia, Kasia. Online on our website, and it's actually very easy to find. In the editor's choice bar at the top of our website at theweathernetwork.com, you'll see black box. You click that and it brings you to this article, which basically tells you everything you ever wanted to know about flight data recorders. So just a little bit of a good thing to read, actually, background to really understand what that's all about.
And the fact that black boxes are actually orange, right? But there's a huge weather connection. Of course, there's always been speculation that this was a weather-related accident, but even the days leading up to today and the retrieval of these black boxes, it has been so very choppy out there on the water, so finally it's a little bit more calmer, so conditions are more favorable for the finding of these black boxes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here at home, we have been dealing with several water main breaks throughout the city of Toronto.
And what I find interesting about this is that you have such cold air in place, the water spews out of this water main break, and then it acts kind of like a snow machine, really, rerouting and also diverting transit as well.
That's
so it's
right.
had a big impact in North York.
And you can thank these wind chill values, right? At one point, there was a meter-wide bridge of ice that was produced as a result of that. So meanwhile, we're looking at some snow squalls. We'll be talking about that in just one moment. But to talk about how cold it has been earlier this morning, here's Kelly Noseworthy.
It is good news, Kelly. Absolutely. She's out there doing her cold weather experiments, and maybe you are too. Well, you don't have much longer to do it because the temperatures are warming up. This is a visible satellite, and there is a band of lake effect snow that's falling in the Niagara area. You can barely see it here. The reason we're using this visible satellite to capture the snow because it's a little bit lower level. So this is really the best product to be able to show you.
If you are traveling from Hamilton to St. Catharines on the QEW, you may run into a small squall line, but just a heads up, we have that going on into the afternoon. Meanwhile, into your long range, a reprieve is on the way when it comes to those frigid temperatures.
Yeah, it is warming up from west to east, and you'll see that in your local forecast on the 10s.
Oh boy, and it's a cold one as well for today. You saw how bundled up they were in Manitoba. Closer to Brandon, it feels like -20 this afternoon, feels like -24 northwestern regions of Ontario. Yeah, bone chilling, that biting cold. And the grip, though, is actually letting up a little bit. By tomorrow, wind chill values closer to -15. Just sunny skies, and that, my friends, is the definition of high pressure. But that's about to change for you in Edmonton. Chance of some freezing rain there later into the afternoon and the evening hours. But what we're looking at here, Calgary, a mix of sun and clouds and temperatures at +1. You remember that skit? +1 in Calgary. And by tomorrow, 3 degrees for you. Vancouver above seasonal at 7 degrees, a mix of sun and clouds as well, but active weather to the north along the central and the north coast. We are seeing some freezing rain there as well, with freezing rain warnings extending from Manning down through to Hinton now. It does include the city of Edmonton, by the way, so into the afternoon and evening hours especially is when we are expecting this freezing rain. It's not going to be epic by any means, but we will be picking up a few millimeters of it, and it's areas more so outside of, the downtown core, less traveled roads, less treated roads that we'll be seeing, more slick conditions, that's for sure, and heavier amounts to the northwestern Alberta. To the north, though, it's all about that snowfall, and we're talking about a good 5 to even 10 centimeters of snow through that area. But of course, it's north of more of our populated areas. Further south you go, the less precipitation that you are going to see. And so Calgary, really, you're just going to be dealing with settled conditions, and really that's going to be lasting for the next few days. But over the next few days, we're still seeing that warm up, and we can thank two clipper systems. So the one that is affecting us today, you're going to see some more teals pop in here, and possibly even some yellows. Yellows meaning temperatures above the freezing mark. So that's even going to be spilling into your area in Saskatchewan.
Let's take a look at our developing stories. Yes, high pressure is taking over for some. Well, I won't reveal it yet. We'll get to that at the end of the segment.
Those details. And we take you to beautiful Rock Harbor, Newfoundland. Compliments of Clyde, who uploaded that to the weathernetwork.com.
So Greenwood in the Annapolis Valley, 7 centimeters of snow. Everything's moving out, and we will be left with high pressure building in. But it's going to remain cold as we head into tomorrow across the Atlantic provinces.
Right. Your next reprieve, Thursday, Friday in the Atlantic, where we start to see more seasonal values. But yeah, as you mentioned, relatively quiet. Still could be picking up some sea effect flurries for you along western shores of Cape Breton and Newfoundland.
Yeah, so overall, the pattern for the cold continues until this next low starts to come in later in the week. So we'll see what kind of impact that has on our temperatures. This is Brandon Mann. Look at a video like this, right?
No, and I can't help but think, you know, red sky in the morn, sailor be warned, or shepherd in this case. And there is active weather coming to the region. We are looking at some flurries as a result of a clipper system moving in for tomorrow.
Mike Arsenault, Mark Robinson, been traveling across the country. You may have been following their hashtag. Lloyd and Harry, is that right? From Dumb and Dumber? I'm looking to the newsroom.
That's
okay,
hilarious.
I think that's the hashtag.
No, I don't know.
No, they're having too much fun.
I thought it was
frankly.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or something like that. Okay.
This is their cross-country trek. So they've been spending some time in Saskatchewan and more so recently in Manitoba. So they are continuing their trek. Now, here's the thing: as they continue to move further east, they're going from east to west, or rather west to east. The conditions are beginning to warm, and that's really the trend that we're seeing across the west.
And the warm is actually going to be following them, so we're going to start to see the retrieval of all these purples, and in comes the blues, meaning temperatures a little bit more moderate, a little bit closer to seasonal.
Different parts of the world, clearly, but all
so
at the same magnitude, which is unusual.
It's super unusual. So that's one thing that we're talking about here among many of our other top stories, which you can find at theweathernetwork.com. So check it out. And that's exactly what we're dealing with for today. My name is Kasia Bodurka. Your national forecast begins in Alberta. This clipper is going to be bringing us some freezing rain. We're already starting to see it in some places. It's boosting up temperatures, yes, right across the board, really, but not quite Chinook winds. We're not looking at a 10-degree, increase in temperatures, but an increase nonetheless. All right, so areas marked in fuchsia here. You're under a freezing rain warning, a snowfall warning to central and northern coast of BC. We're talking about up to 15 centimeters of fresh powder. Fresh powder to the north of Alberta as well. Show you how much in just one moment. But areas marked in red here, you're all under the threat of freezing rain later into the afternoon and the evening hours. So just, be cognizant of that. Give yourself some extra time as you're heading out because it could be quite slick out there. We're not talking about heavy amounts. We're just talking patchy freezing rain and patchy rain snow mix through those areas. To the north, though, we're looking at heavier amounts, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. All right. The excellent adventure of Mark Robinson and Mike Arsenault continues in the prairies. Here they are.
There's just another great example of why Mark and I are weather wimps.
Okay. Well, the reprieve is on its way. We're starting to see the purples recede, the teals move in, the blues move in, and by tomorrow, by Thursday even, places like Winnipeg, -4, that's your high. 4 degrees for the city of Calgary. Not bad day. But what's happening here is really cold wind chills, as you can see here, -20 in Chapleau, as you can mention. But how about to the south? Well, here's Kevin Yard. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, by your Saturday, City of Toronto, daytime high of 2. Clipper system to the north. We should be fine in southern Ontario and not seeing too much active weather for the eastern flank of the country for some time. And the snow was coming down. We continue after force of nature with a look at intense weather. Well, it was intense at times in the Atlantic with the grand totals, how much snow we did pick up with that system there. 14 centimeters in Gander, 12 in St. John's. First began as rain rather, then changed over very quickly in a big dumping of snow. rather quickly. All right, lesser amounts though. Halifax at 6 centimeters, 7 in Sydney. So what's to come now is the fact that our winds are going to be subsiding a little bit, still a northerly flow. So it is cold. Another cold day on tap, really, with wind chill values in the high minus teens, even in the 20s for some of us. An Arctic high, yeah, to say the least, but then a reprieve come Thursday and Friday when it comes to temperatures, and then these conditions in terms of the winds are also going to be subsiding. But in the meantime, coastal areas still dealing with some windy conditions. Meanwhile, we are seeing more ice cover on the Great Lakes right now than we have been over the warmer surfaces of the water. How cool is that? Yeah. It makes you cold just looking at it, right? With extreme cold weather alerts in the city of Toronto, weather warnings right across Ontario, really. Wind chill values in the minus 30s. That's what we woke up to. But again, still dealing with another cool day in the forecast for your Wednesday, Thursday, but then your Friday and Saturday get much better for the whole eastern half of the country. By your Saturday, City of Toronto, 2 degrees. Beautiful skies, red sky at night, sailor's delight. And really, that's what we have to look forward to through the prairie provinces. It's quite quiet, except if you are in Alberta. We do have a weak clipper system. Yes, it's a quick mover, as usual, dropping a little bit of precipitation, heavier amounts to the north. But for us, areas marked in red here, this is a chance of freezing rain. In fact, we do have some warnings in effect for even the city of Edmonton later into the afternoon and evening hours, so it could be slick out there. Heed those warnings, please.